Hello students, I'm Dr. Swati and I'm here to tell you tips how to excel in your anesthesia residency course. So my first tip, the residency course is of 3 years duration. Divide the entire course in 6 blocks of 6 months each. And in every block, you need to cover a certain amount of portion relevant to the year you are in. Right? So as I said that we need to divide in 6 months duration block our 3-year residency course. So first year we will have 6 month and 6 month, 2 blocks. And in the first 6 month of first year, what relevant portion we need to cover, what relevant skills we need to learn, we should have the knowledge of that. Like for example, when you are in the first 6 months of your, let's say residency, you need to know how to prepare the operating room, how to prepare the drugs in a required dilution, how to prepare the OT table, how to check the anesthesia machine. So everything relevant to your knowledge but of first 6 months, you should learn in that 6 months. Then what are the relevant theoretical things which you need to know in first 6 months? We will cover that. Like we need to know the relevant pharmacology of anesthesia, relevant applied physiology of anesthesia. So we divide your entire 3-year residency in 6 months block and know in every 6 months what portion you need to cover. Okay. My second tip is that you need to keep the required textbooks and resources available. Right? So you get advices from everywhere that study this textbook, you take advices from your senior and from your faculty. Well, definitely everyone advises, they give the best advice for a particular textbook which you should cover, but you should choose the textbook according to your capability, how much you can put hours in reading that textbook, how much effort you can put in reading that textbook. Now, for example, most of the people, when I was in my residency, if I used to ask which textbook I should follow, most of them used to say Miller's Anesthesia. Well, Miller's definitely is one of the best textbook, and I definitely kept Miller's Anesthesia as the advice I got. But in my first year, I was not able to follow Miller's anesthesia. What I was able to follow it when I was in my 3rd year of residency. It is very good textbook, but little difficult to understand in your initial period of residency. So I would say keep a simpler textbook which is more fluent in reading. So my suggestion is keep Barash textbook of anesthesia as your basic textbook for anesthesia. So I would say keep Barash textbook of anesthesia as your basic textbook, right? Keep Miller as the reference, Miller's Anesthesia as a reference book. And you need not purchase it, just issue it from library or go to the library when you need the reference. But keep Barash textbook. And for pharmacology of anesthesia, definitely Stolting is one of the best book. Very extensively the drugs are covered in a simple language. So I would say Stolting for pharmacology and even for coexisting, Stolting is very good. So Stolting textbook for coexisting disease, right? So for these two cover, just go through Stolting. Now for equipments, we need to know about our equipments properly. So what textbook we should cover? There are various textbooks for equipments. I think there are 2 textbooks which I find easy to understand. One is Watts and other is Dosh and Dosh. So Watts textbook for understanding the anesthesia equipment and Dosh and Dosh. Dosh and Dosh. These are the both textbook in which the equipments are explained in a simpler manner. I think we should keep both these textbooks. Reason, there are few things which is written better in Watts and there are few topics which are covered better in Dosh and Dosh. What I felt, I'm telling you. So these are the basic textbook we need to keep during our residency period. Now you can ask for subspecialty, for neuro, for cardiac, for pediatric. Do we need some special subspecialty textbooks? Well, I would say it is not mandatory. If you have a particular interest in some subspecialty and you want to read through and through and you want to put that kind of hours in it, well and good, keep it. But otherwise, I don't think it is required. You have library. Use these subspecialty textbook as the reference textbook. Do not use it as your main textbook okay? Because definitely they will take more time and it would be little difficult to understand them in your initial phase. With your duty hours and with your emergency duties, it would be really difficult to cover those textbooks. If you cover one basic textbook, that would be more than enough. What I suggest that for some special, let's say, subspecialty, if you need some more knowledge on it, rather than purchasing a special textbook, go look for the review articles on that particular subspecialties. Review articles are very in good, let's say, journals are written beautifully, covering most of the relevant things in a very concise manner. So easy to read and a better understanding we have. So go for those review articles. Number of times, if I was posted in pediatrics and I wanted to read about the physiology in the pediatric patient, I used to see the review article related to that. And definitely, they are faster to cover and easier to cover. Now, tip 3. As I said, you divide your residency in 6 months block, and every 6 months you need to cover certain relevant part. For the first 6 months, the suggestion is that physiology relevant to anesthesia, pharmacology relevant to anesthesia, and equipment relevant to anesthesia should be definitely covered. Well, you are using so many drugs. What is anesthesiology? Drugs and monitoring and the knowledge of physiology. So if you are using so many drugs, if you don't have the knowledge of its pharmacokinetic or pharmacodynamic, how would you use them safely? You should know a particular drug like propofol. If you are using it in a children, what modification you have to do in the dose? Or if you are giving propofol to a cardiac patient, how would you inject it in incremental dose or in a bolus dose or in a slow titrating dose? So you should have the knowledge of the pharmacodynamics of propofol, then only you will know it. So knowledge of the drugs is must, right? If you are not knowing how the inotropes acts, which inotrope you have to use in what condition, you would not know how to use it. So pharmacology is must. Applied physiology is equally important. If you don't know the applied physiology, the required investigation in a particular derangement of physiology of a patient, how would you do a pre-anesthetic evaluation of the patient? And you would know what are the things you have to look in the deranged physiology of a patient. So if you get a patient for a Whipple surgery with a deranged hepatic function, how would you know about the status of the liver of the patient if you don't know the hepatic physiology? How would you know what drugs are safe when you are conducting the case if you don't know the physiology and the effect of anesthetic agent on the physiology? So relevant physiology is must. Again, equipment understanding is equally important. You should know your equipments, then only you can safely use it. So read about the equipments, pharmacology and physiology in first 6 months. Definitely cover it. Now tip 4. So now as you're getting rotated in various subspecialty, you're going in pediatric OT, you're going in after some time in neuro OT or a cardiac OT. As you're getting rotated, read about that subspecialty thoroughly. Read about the relevant physiology, anatomy and pharmacology of that subspecialty. So if I am getting posted in obstetric and if I don't know the physiological changes of pregnancy, how would I know how to manage my patient during complications? If I don't know the relevant changes which happens in my patient with mitral stenosis in let's say pregnancy, how would I know how to conduct a cesarean section safely in that patient? So we need to know about that subspecialty in which currently we are working thoroughly. So know about your subspecialty in which you are working. Now tip 5, as you are getting the cases done, different cases done, like if you are posted in pediatric OT, you have read the pediatric anatomy, pediatric physiology, pediatric pharmacology, and you are getting a meningomyelocele case. Read about that case and then come in the OT. So read about the cases you are getting done. You are in neuro OT and you have a posterior fossa tumors. surgery. So read about the posterior fossa, anesthetic management of posterior fossa tumor. Then only you will manage the patient properly. Then only when you are monitoring, you will know what you are monitoring. You will understand you are monitoring. So read about the cases and then go to the OT. Coming on tip 6. So whenever you are getting the cases done in OT, make the list of the queries which is coming in your mind, right? Make the list of the queries and discuss those queries with your colleagues, with your senior, with your faculty for a better understanding. So always list your queries. Otherwise, you will forget later on. Tip 7. Now, when you are getting the cases done, your various posting in various subspecialty, definitely you have very less time. But don't ignore your studies. Start preparing for your exams slowly from beginning itself. Take your internal assessment exam. Every 6 months, internal assessment exam happens. Take those exams seriously. In those exams, the portions are given in divided form. Read those portions and then go for exam. Definitely, your preparation would start from very beginning and you will never feel pressure at the end, right? Because you don't get leave for your exam. We never used to get leave for our exam, before the final exam. Coming on tip 8. Plan the 6 days of week ahead. What are the skills you will learn in these 6 days? What is the theoretical portion you have to cover in those 6 days? So plan the 6 days ahead and assess what all you have covered at the end of the week. Okay. Tip 9. Yes, you have to enjoy your life. You have to do your duty. Everything is, you have to balance. So that is why try to read every day a little bit. I'm not saying every day 6 hours of reading. That's not possible. Little read every day. So try to read little most of the days of the week. Now tip 10. Form a study group. Form a group in which you can have good discussion about the cases you have done. You don't need to, you form group to discuss movies. Similarly, form a group to discuss the cases as well. Discuss the important things which you noted in your case and what inputs you get from your colleagues or your seniors. Form a group and have good, interesting group discussions. Okay. Now, tip 11. Take feedbacks. Feedbacks are very important. Never feel ashamed of your follies. If you are having problem in a procedure, when you are doing the procedure, take the feedbacks from your colleagues, from your seniors, from your faculty. It will help you in improving. So never feel ashamed if someone is telling you that yes, this point is wrong, you should improve on this point. So take regular feedbacks on your skills. We know failure builds the path for success, right? And the most important last tip, tip 12. Tip 12 is take care of your health during entire residency period. Eat healthy and exercise daily, right? So a good healthy body and mind both are required to excel in the residency period, right? And one more tip from my side. Yes, you have to study, but build up a critical thinking throughout your 3 years of period. Start thinking about what you will do after 3 years of this period. Think about research. Start thinking about the research which you can, if you are interested in research, if you are interested in teaching, or if you are just interested in the clinical works, what exactly is your call, right? If you take your call, then you will excel. And if you start taking interest in research from your residency period only, then definitely you will have a bright future, right? Because research make you think critically and make you excel in your field. Thank you. I hope you will follow the tip and excel in your residency.